All right, what's up guys, it's KOSDFF here, and today I wanted to start off, like, I guess my memoirs as it were, with Australia, which is where I moved and lived for about 4 or 5 years when I was 12. My dad worked for a company called EDS, Electrical Data Systems. It's a company that kind of created outsourcing and was one of the first businesses to fully dedicate, like, their whole service range was all about helping other companies complete a task. Otherwise known as outsourcing. If you guys don't know what that word means, it really does mean exactly what you would think it would mean. It's just when a company takes something that they would normally do in-house, employs another company or contracts with another company to do that for them, to take advantage of things like economies of scale and specialization of labor. And eventually the Commonwealth Bank of Australia contracted with EDS to help them come over and, like, I guess set up their ATMs or just electrical data systems. But all I remembered is he was gone for like 3 or 4 months at a time for about a year. And it really weighed heavy on my mom. Now, I was a kid. I was obliviously happy to live life and eat Cheerios or whatever the hell I did when I was 12. But I missed him nonetheless. I just don't remember, really missing him a whole lot. I wasn't neglected at all as a child. I'd make that clear. But it came down to them asking my dad to continue working like that, and spend more and more time in Australia so that they could complete this project, to which he responded no, unless he could bring his family. We were at a pivotal point in our lives, and that's a lot of the reason why I'm starting my stories here. That's an extremely important time in life, and he knew that for both me and my sister. I'm 19 months older than my sister, so she was 10 and a half or something at the time. So we moved over to Australia, and really what I wanted to tell you guys about is something that you guys could probably relate to, is like your first day at school. If you're lucky and you've lived in the same town around the same people your whole life, which people can argue whether that's lucky or not, you've only had like one true first day at school, and that was probably a kindergarten. You don't remember it, and then you knew everybody you went to school with for the rest of your life, or until you went to college. But no, like, I'm going to talk about my first day of school in Sydney, Australia. So after like a 14-hour plane ride, which was not so bad, from California, but when you added in like the 5-hour, 4-hour flight from the East Coast to the West Coast, I mean, you're looking at a solid 20 hours of traveling, give or take with layovers and just, general boarding times. Pretty daunting, but we finally got there. The house was really cool, and there was nothing in it, and it was really hot. There was no central air conditioning, but the view was spectacular. You could tell my dad was really stoked to move to Australia and get his family over there, because he did not pick a practical house. But still, it was actually really cool. It was covered in bamboo. The front walkway was really cool. It was like a 20-meter, like, just garden before you could get to our front door. They gave me like the attic room, which I thought was really cool until like the other 70% of the year hit, when it was really, really hot. Now, that's also one of the major, I guess, cultural differences, is that the seasons are switched, so they actually have Christmas and summer. If you've never known that and you're hearing this and you're like, yeah, right, haha. No, think about it. Their actual Christmas is summer, and their summer is a winter time. So during their summers in school in Australia, they go to winter camps and go skiing and snowboarding and stuff. What I want to tell you about is my first day of school. Now, first thing that was shocking is we had to go actually to the school a day before my first day of school to get a uniform. Awkward, because they had school that day, so I had to go to this school and walk through it wearing my normal clothes, while every single person in that entire building, besides the teachers, was all wearing a school uniform. If you guys have ever seen kind of videos or anyone talk about European or Australian education systems, it's very different from American schools. It's not all in one big building, there's no cafeteria, and there's just kids and people running everywhere freely. So we got the school uniform, and I had to walk by like everybody, so everyone knew I was coming, like, because I had just been there the day before. New kid walked through, he's an American, so everyone expected me. And the day I got there, it was exactly what you would think it would be like going to a first day of school in a really small town. It's very neighborhood based. The schools are very small. The classroom sizes are very small, and literally the neighborhood surrounding the school, the only people that go there. So they were all very close. They all live near each other and have their whole lives, and they fucking swarmed me. A little more than I had ever expected, because they were so friendly and so interested, which was off-putting at first, but you could tell they were a really close bunch and they really knew how to deal with new kids. So like, soon as that 5-10 minute period of everyone kind of just saying hi and whatever broke off, they just gave me a buddy, which is really cool, which is they do in college as well. They give you like a dorm buddy, and you do everything with that buddy for the first couple of days. Makes the first couple of days of school really easy. And they gave me my little buddy. I think his name was Adam. I can't exactly remember if it was this guy or another guy, but I'm pretty sure his name was Adam. He ended up being like my first friend there. But the reason why this buddy was so important is he ended up kind of getting me in trouble, but it was not his fault. Yes, of course, I got in trouble on my first day of school. That's just me. That is who I am. I've always been kind of a troublemaker in school, especially in like uncomfortable situations. I use humor. Now this eventually worked out really well for like public speaking, because being able to talk to a lot of people makes everything so much easier. So I made a lot of jokes. It made me come off very much as a prankster, huge smart ass. So that has not changed about me. I was just as much a smart ass back when I was 12. I just use bigger words now. I was very much the center of attention in the classroom, and the teacher, did not shy away. There was a little bit of a hazing that this small like neighborhood style school had, which is respectable and almost sought out. Like you almost want to be hazed a little bit just so you get to open up and have some experiences with a new group. So she definitely called on me a lot. Although there wasn't much of a language barrier, obviously, there were small tiny things that they found extremely rude that I was completely unaware of. Now, if you guys have never been outside of America or never talked to anybody outside of America, we have a general reputation as being rude, loud, obnoxious, and rude. The story I'm about to tell you might come off as the Australians being sensitive, but if you lived over there and were used to this way of speaking, it might just stand out more. I think the teacher was an asshole in the end, but still, I think it just stood out more. Now, what I'm talking about is the use of the word what versus excuse me. Now, of course, when you're in a brand new school, you have your attentions being pulled in like 1,000 different ways. I had all these different kids talking to me. I was taking in like a million different things at once, all in seconds. So that when she called on me the first time and I didn't quite hear her, I responded, what? But I didn't say like what, like disrespectfully. It was really a curious like what? And she goes, oh, no, you can't say that. You have to say, excuse me. Saying what here sounds very rude. And I was like, okay. And like, all right. The next time she called on me and I kind of stumbled over what I was thinking about, I said what, but I quickly corrected myself and said, excuse me. To which, I got like a nod, and then, everything was fine. But everyone thought I did it on purpose, because I did kind of say it a little funny that time. That time I was like embarrassed, and my way of dealing with being embarrassed is humor. And my little buddy even leaned over to me and he goes, man, don't poke this one. I don't remember exactly what he said because I was too distracted, because they called their erasers rubbers over there. And as you know, in America, rubbers means condom. And I was 12, and to me that was fucking hilarious. Every time he asked to use my rubber or pass the rubber, because that's just literally what they call it over there. I was dying. I thought it was hilarious. So I was giggling a little in class. So the teacher, obviously having to put her foot down so this new student realizes, although it's the first day and, all the attention's on you, I got to know that they're the disciplinarian, and then I've got to respect them, and I can't be giggling in class the whole time. So she called on me a third time. But that time she said something and I really didn't hear, and I responded, what? And she came down on me hard as fuck. She pulled me out of that classroom, took me outside, and I don't know if you've seen, well, here, let me just describe it. It's like an Australian classroom. Again, they have no like air conditioning, so all the walls are glass. They're these shutters that you kind of move up and down, but really that's just to stop rain and wind. Really, there's no sound barrier whatsoever. It was a very open building meant to stay cool in the summer. So when you get pulled out of the classroom, you can hear everything. And she straight bitched me out. She said it was disrespectful, that she didn't care that I was American, that students should all be held to the same standard, and that being disrespectful to your teacher wouldn't be tolerated. And after that, I was shook. Like, I went back in that classroom. It was my first day of school. It was going pretty well. But at that point, I was pretty shook and really didn't probably say much for the rest of the day. I went home, and my mom noticed that I was kind of chilling and not really digging everything. And she eventually asked me. And then I snitched on the teacher because it was my mom. And I'm sorry. You snitch on people to your family. Mom wasn't visibly upset. She was angry, but she just kind of told me that it was okay to try, to say excuse me and all that good jazz. Then my dad came home, and my mom and my dad went into the bedroom, and that's when the yelling began. My mom went on a tirade about how this teacher was a straight up bitch. It's a different culture, and that I'm in a new place. And it was this long thing that I remember. It was so long that I got bored and walked away and went and did something else. But that was not the end of it. Little did I know, my mom was going to be taking me to school today, which was a big ordeal because we only had one car because we'd only been there for like 3 or 4 days. So my dad had to sit there and wait to go to work so my mom could drive me to school and go bitch out this teacher. I didn't know that was her plan, but that's very much what happened. By the hand, she drags me into this school. We go right up to like the front desk. She demands to talk to my teacher. And then we sat there on the little bench while all the new friends I had made the day before kind of like walked in front of me because they were all coming into the school, and I was saying hi to all of them. And like, I'm just sitting next to my mom, mom and she's all fucking wicked pissed, so it looks like I'm in trouble yet again. The second day hasn't even started yet and I'm waiting for the fucking principal. So the teacher finally comes up and she kind of says hi and walks by us, goes and gets the principal, and the principal and her come out and we have this student-teacher meeting. That also didn't go very well. It went well for the first like 5 minutes, but as soon as it started getting heated, my mom asked me to go stand outside, and it was very much the same experience that I had the previous day of listening to a whole bunch of grown-ups yell at each other, which I take that back. It was a whole bunch of listening to my mom yell at somebody and them just sitting there quietly.
And my mom's wrath is something to behold. I'm talking 5 feet 6 inches of pure dragon lady. You hear stories about stereotypical Asian moms, they're all true. They hit you with them eye, and holy fuck, they can yell. What they lack in size, they make up for in decibels.
Don't remember any different treatment after that, but she definitely didn't fuck with me anymore. She didn't call on me as much. Obviously, I really feel like the first day was hazing. I was definitely just a regular student. We never warmed up to each other. My only other memory of her is when we went to a summer camp with all the classes, which I have to tell you about all that stuff. We went to all these camps and hikes and camping trips all the time. Their co-curricular or co-extracurricular activities in those schools over there were just like everything. They were the main part of school almost. The next time I even have a memory of her is her being really drunk at the bar at this kind of like hideaway camp that we went to. And I eventually learned that everybody in that school hated her. They all loved every single teacher, every administrator, every single person in that school. The only person they didn't like was the teacher that bitched me out, which made it all that much easier because I had this war story and they're like, damn, homie fucked with you the first day. And we all kind of had a laugh about it. But that's really kind of the end of this story. I really can't wait to tell you guys about all of Australia. I could probably tell you literally hundreds of stories in Australia because let's face it, I was an American teenager in Australia in one of the biggest, most thriving young cities in the world where you don't need a car to get around because your buses and your trains can get you anywhere in the city. So it's just like having a car. My parents were like extremely relaxed because they just kind of trusted Australia. And I got into a world of fucking trouble and did a lot of shit I shouldn't have done, but also had an extreme amount of fun and got to really experience a lot of things that I really didn't get to experience again in life until I was in college. Please leave a comment below. I would love to chat with you guys about any of the things I talked about or any things you guys want me to talk about. I do apologize for my nose being all stuffed up and me sounding all sick because I am sick, but I really want to start this commentary series. I tried to put it off one extra day by making a trolling video because I really do kind of want to alternate between trolling and my normal content and this new style of content that I'm making, switching off days and stuff, but I was too sick yesterday and I sounded really retarded in my vlog, so I didn't really want to do a commentary. Thank you guys so much and I'll see you tomorrow.